Hi everyone, Grey Power 60 here, Sunday night, and I thought I would chat with you about my personal experiences and little notes that I've made looking after my mom and sharing some experiences. So tonight I have been doing a little research, and I came across a video that Jane Fonda had done, and I had watched it a few years ago. She actually has, I think, a couple of them. This one is a short one from TED Talks. I love TED Talks. They've got so many awesome videos for everything. You name it. It's out there. It's so refreshing to watch, and they're not really long, so it's not like watching a movie. Anyway, so I've put those up on my Facebook page if you want to have a look. So I made some notes, and when I was doing some research, basically tonight is about communicating with our elder parents, and I realized a few things about myself that I didn't like, or I didn't realize, and it was a bit of an eye-opener. I mean, not, kaboom kind of eye-opener, just a little one. So I was looking for techniques for communicating. My problem with Mom is her hearing. And one of the things that I'll give you, I'm only going to go over 5 points. It's not going to be a long video, I hope. But these are some of the techniques that we have to relearn with our parents, especially those with dementia and Alzheimer's, in the early stages, obviously. And one of the things is advice. Don't give advice to your parents, because they're going to feel, that you're still their child. And when we get into that sort of parent-child reversed role, we tend to be, giving them our advice, giving them our they've lived a long life. I'm in my 60s, so I know that I would feel upset if my children were giving me advice about something that I've already lived, So I know how I would feel, and we need to sort of take a look back at our own sort of relationship with our parents, I guess, and try not to do that. Try not to give them advice. It's better to listen. And it's usually hard on the parent to hear advice from a child, because they think they know better. And it's not always true, but that's, that's the way it is. So that's point number 1. The second point is to listen to what they are saying. Actually listen to what they're saying. And this is something that I really had to, excuse me, that I really had to stretch myself with, I guess. No, that's not even true. I don't know why, but I've always been able to allow people to finish their thought to a point. Have you ever noticed when you talk to somebody will be talking, and there's quite a long pause, and because we are younger, fast-paced, whatever, at least in my younger days too, we'd want to fill in the blanks for them. Instead of waiting, I know it's a long pause and sometimes uncomfortable, but sometimes it's because they're thinking. They're trying to compose in their mind what they're trying to say. And after a while, you'll get to know your own family member or whoever you are taking care of. You'll understand that their pauses are a chance for them to sort of formulate in their mind what they're trying to say. My mom doesn't do it too much. She's pretty good at coming straight to the point. But I know as time goes on, there's going to be, I noticed it with my stepfather, for instance. my stepfather would, in the beginnings of his Alzheimer's, in the beginnings, he used to love to talk to me, he said, in my early days when I was more articulate. And when he and my mom first met, I was still, full of myself, I guess. I don't know. But as time got on, I think as I started to notice that when we were talking, he would have long pauses because he couldn't remember the word he wanted to use. And I remember talking to him and allowing him that time to finish his thought. And when I saw him struggling too much, to the point where it's almost embarrassing for him because he doesn't know, I would interject a word that he would maybe be looking for. I would say, do you mean blah blah, whatever it is? And he'd go, yes, and when he was, so then I developed with him an understanding that there's a certain pause point when I need to interject and offer the word. My cat's coming in. I thought about Mom. Mom's in bed. So that's the other thing, to really, really listen. Listen to what they're saying, and don't be too quick to fill in that silence, that pause. People are always, even in younger business and world and whatever, we tend to be uncomfortable with those pauses, and really we should enjoy them and let them flow, because sometimes silence is very powerful. So I just thought I'd put that in there as my thoughts. The third point that they were talking about is respecting their opinions. Even though you disagree with them, respect the opinions that your parent or the elder person. I respect Mom's opinion on everything. I may not always agree with her opinion, but that's her opinion. And you know what? She's a grown woman. She's lived a long life, and she deserves to, have an opinion. Obviously, we all as humans have an opinion, and not to argue about that opinion. And it could be anything, I was trying to think of an example, but, if you happen to be, let's just use a silly example. You're doing the dishes, okay? And this may be a silly one, but when Mom does the dishes, sometimes she forgets to use soap. Now, there's only the two of us, and usually the dishes are pretty clean, and she washes them right away, so there's really no residue. I'm not worried about germs and stuff like that. So, but I would ask her, why do you do it this way? Why not do it this way? And she tells me. And then instead of confronting her opinion, I would softly offer mine, like, if you use a little soap, it will come off a little easier. Or, and the funny thing is, she would smile and say, oh, I forgot about that. These are little things. But it keeps her happy, and it keeps things smooth, and my dishes get clean. So that's just one of the other things. I'm trying to be quiet, and I don't know why, because Mom is deaf. She can't hear me. So I guess it's nighttime. We tend to sort of, bring our voices down. So the third point was to try and respect their opinions. It's not comfortable for them, for you to disagree with every opinion they have. Sometimes their opinion is their opinion. Let it out there in the air. Let it fall to the ground. And, no worries. As they get older, they may forget their opinions that they had the day before. So it doesn't matter. No point in stressing about it. So the fourth point is one for me. This was one that was difficult for me to realize. And it is to speak distinctly. And because of Mom's hearing problem, these last 2 points, 4 and 5, it's under my hat. These are my opinions. My cats are playing here. To speak distinctly, especially if they, because sometimes they don't hear you. And even sometimes when I speak to Mom distinctly, there's only two of us. We're in the car. There's no music. I don't play my radio when Mom's in the car because of her hearing. There's enough noise outside the car. So I will talk to her a little bit. I try to talk a little louder. And when I don't get a response from Mom, I'll ask her, did you hear what I said? But the point is my tone of what I say. So instead of saying, Mom, did you hear me? I say things like, Mom, did you hear what I said? And that sounds rough. And I need to correct that. I need to learn new phrases. Mom, did you hear? Or what do you think? You know, just to sort of, because she doesn't always give me feedback when I speak to her, and I'm not sure, but I'm getting to learn her signs as we live together. I'm getting to learn sometimes whether or not she hears me. So a tickle in the throat late at night. I just want, instead of looking down here, I could look up here, but these are my notes that I took. Try to use shorter sentences. Instead of going into a long story about something, try and use shorter sentences, because if they are suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, long explanations, they'll only remember the last part. And it's kind of like a child with ADD or ADHD. You need to use those short phrases and focus on that particular. Don't go off on another tangent, you know. Stick with the point that you're trying to make. It makes it easier for them to understand, and sometimes it takes them longer to process what you're saying. So that was something for me. I really need to learn. And the fifth and final one that I wanted to bring up tonight was, don't be condescending. And I didn't realize that when I say things to my mom like, Mom, did you hear what I said? That's very condescending sounding, even though I'm saying it honestly just to see if she hears me. That is really a big thing for me that I need to learn. I need to when I'm turning up the volume and slowing down my talk, it's almost like I'm condescending to them, although I didn't realize I was doing it. And now I know what my mom meant when we first got together. And she'd cry, and she said, you talk rough to me. And I didn't understand that until tonight. I mean, I understood a little bit, because I know that when I raise my voice, I'm trying to turn up the volume so that she can hear me. But on the other hand, my tone of my voice, I'm going to have to learn. It's almost, I think it's almost like learning to sing, or learning for speeches, where the flow, the up and the down, and I'm going to have to learn all of this, because my mom is my mom, and I love her, and I don't want her to feel that I'm condescending to her. And I think as we get older, we forget about these things. We are mothers and fathers and boss our kids around. We go into the workforce and we fight for our position. You know, we become bosses, and even though we think we're talking to our staff in a certain way and we're being firm, as we deal with our parents, as they become frail and with dementia and memory loss, that sounds very condescending to them, and it makes them frightened, angry, hurt. And we don't want this for them. We want them to enjoy the last and final chapter of their life. We want them to be happy. And that is so hard. And this is one of the things that I need to do. Patronizing them is so wrong. It makes them feel insignificant, and it makes them angry, and it makes them want to shake you, you know, as they did maybe wanting to shake you as a child. So for tonight, I just wanted to come on with those sort of 5 tips. I'm learning as I go along, as I research, as I talk to people, professionals, other, you know, people in my position. And I want my mom's quality of the last part of her life not to feel unloved, not to feel hurt by, you know, the person that she loves. I'm all she has now. I mean, she has my brother. My brother loves her, but he has Alzheimer's, and they're always happy together, but they're not always together. You know, you don't see each other as often, and she treasures that. She latches onto that. So when I get onto Facebook and my sister-in-law's posted pictures of them in Mexico when they're down there, which they are now, Mom, come and look. And I show her the pictures, and she looks at my brother, and oh, he looks good, and you know, we have a good chat and stuff like that. So I'm just sharing. So communicating techniques, I'm learning a lot about myself, and I hope it helps some of you, and I hope it makes me a better person in the end of all of this. And not only that, after watching a couple of TED Talks here about elder care, and with Jane Fonda and this other young girl I just watched, I've forgotten her name right now, we're going to be there ourselves one day. We may or may not have Alzheimer's. We may or may not have dementia. We may or may not have some sort of memory loss. We will become forgetful. What's important, right? Our brains are like a computer. We kind of throw out the garbage, you know, garbage in, garbage out. We just, you know, we just have to remember it could be us one day, and I want to be as helpful to my mom as I possibly can. So it's one step. I'm learning all over again how to care. I hope this is helpful to some of you, and thanks for watching, because I feel that this is very therapeutic for me to be able to share this with you, and to be able to research things, correct some of my own mistakes, and hug my mom a little bit more. Thanks for joining me, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share. It would be nice to hear from others. Leave a comment about your experiences on these particular subjects. You know, every week I'll try and do something else, because I am, like I say, learning. Tonight it was communicating skills. Maybe some of your experiences on how you had to deal with your parents, and how you had to sort of maneuver through some of these things, stumble and fall like I'm doing, getting back up and trying it again. It's tough, but you know what? It's love. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye for now.